On most days in the small town of Colville, you can find Cassandra Heidi laboring through triathlon training with one goal in mind.
I do it because I know it will help me cross that finish line.
The driving force for any athlete comes down to one word: motivation. And while we focus on the fuel associated with that word, we often neglect the nature of its existence.
It was hard getting help.
Oftentimes, our darkest demons drive us to utter determination.
It's really easy to quit, but I keep going because of him.
Almost every racer who takes the 70.3-mile trek in Coeur d'Alene Sunday will have a certain motivation in mind.
I will finish for us.
Heidi will be one of those competitors, and her motivation won't be hard to find.
He's my best friend, my very best friend.
For most of Heidi's adult life, she lived in Alaska with her husband and 2 children.
I like snow. To me, it was the perfect fit.
She lived a simple life, but had to deal with a very complicated situation regarding her oldest son, Thomas.
I kind of knew from a very young age that something was different with him.
Thomas struggled with schoolwork, was bullied for most of his childhood, and had difficulty communicating with others as well as controlling his emotions.
And it wasn't until the day before his 19th birthday that he was finally diagnosed as having Asperger's. He was on the autism spectrum.
He was later diagnosed with bipolar disorder as well. All of this mounted up to the worst day in Cassandra's life.
So we went home and we walked inside the house, and it was cold and dark, and I knew what had happened, and I just started screaming. My husband just leaned back and he kicked the door in. And I knew that he was dead.
On April 15th, 2006, Thomas committed suicide. He was 24 years old.
We left Fairbanks. That was it. We sold everything.
The family moved to the Moses Lake area where the grieving process began.
So after my son died, I pretty much stopped moving for 3 years.
She would sit on the couch for sometimes 20 hours a day and live in virtual worlds, living vicariously through fictitious online characters.
I disappeared into my computer. I didn't want to be part of real life.
Her body suffered dearly.
Started spending so much time in front of the computer, I became extremely obese. I got up to, at one point, I was 317 pounds.
Cassandra knew she hit rock bottom, but after a few years, she was ready to get her bottom up and start living life once again.
And I wondered, is it possible to be happy after losing your child? And the answer is yes.
Cassandra split with her husband and moved to Colville alone in 2010, ready to begin the next stage of her life.
I knew that I had to do something, and so I started looking online. These triathlons kept coming up in searches.
As Cassandra neared her 50s, she was ready to take life by the bike handles, wetsuit, and running shoes, over and over and over again.
I lost all the weight.
Cassandra's triathlon training helped her lose more than 100 pounds.
I went from 317 pounds, barely even being able to walk, to competing at a national level. Me, I'm still just a broken down, arthritic, old gray mare.
Each finisher's medal for Cassandra isn't a source of pride, but more of a reminder.
These are memories of all of these days, of the events that I've done.
So when the 10-year anniversary of her son's death was approaching in April of 2016, she was hoping to ease the pain of one memory by earning the positive addition of another.
My very first half Ironman, and I do it in memory of my son.
Cassandra was off to New Orleans, dedicating this race to Thomas.
I had this jersey made with a picture of my son's picture would be over my heart. And I thought, another way that I could have him with me is I could carry his ashes.
The story was supposed to end there with Cassandra completing the Ironman in memory of her son.
These waves, it was unlike anything I had ever experienced.
But no dice. Cassandra pulled herself out of the race 45 minutes into the swim. DNF. Did not finish.
Had a big pity party for myself, and the next day I signed up for the Coeur d'Alene Half Ironman.
2 months later, sporting the same outfit, she was ready to finish what she started.
I completed it in 8 hours, 38 minutes, and 2 seconds, which is still officially a did not finish because I was 8 minutes and 2 seconds over the deadline.
Undeterred and deeply motivated, Cassandra is ready for attempt number 3.
This is our year. We are going to have an official finish.
Sunday's Ironman in Coeur d'Alene has been 11 years in the making.
I know he would tell me this. He would tell me, Mom, you can do this.
Each racer has their own motivation walking up to the starting line, but Cassandra's will just be easier to recognize.
When times get tough, and I guarantee you, mile 8 on that run, it's going to be tough. He's going to be there with me.
Cassandra learned to live life without Thomas, but now for the last time, the mother-son duo are determined to become Ironmen together.
I know I can finish it within the 8 hours and 30 minutes. And again, I'm going to carry my son's ashes, and we're going to finish that race.